All right, welcome back to episode 26 of Dad's Dialogues. If you are on YouTube, you can tell I am in a different spot than I normally am, and this will go well with the episode today. And as you can see in the title, today we're going to be talking about traveling with your baby slash toddler. And yes, even just a couple of months can make traveling so much different, but we'll get into all of that. I thank you guys for joining. As always, you guys know on Dad's Dialogues, we strive to be the best dads we can be. And today we are traveling. We're in Gatlinburg, Tennessee with my main friends, Forever Goals. Massive shout out. These have been my friends since I was a youngin', a baby. And to know that we are adults and living corporate work, doing corporate work, and we're still hanging out as much as possible. You know, we still live in different parts of the United States, but we still get together at least once a year. And now I got two of my friends, Nathan and Salam, getting married. So shout out to Salam's mans, because this is his shirt actually, and it kind of look fly. So Brandon, thank you. Anyways, we can get straight into the episode of traveling with your baby. I guess Nia's Corner is also we are traveling with a bunch of friends, and you know, we're in Gatlinburg. It's all fun and games. But I was like, you know what? And you know what? Actually, why I'm in a different spot is because I forgot to record this week. And not that I forgot, I just the time slips by, and then we get to Gatlinburg. I'm like, dude, I just posted last week. I can't not be consistent. So I'm here. Nia's napping, right? Nia's napping, and if you're on YouTube, you can see it. Nia's napping, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just slide out real quick. Everybody's, at the main city part, having fun, and I'm like, you know what? I gotta be a dad, and while I'm at it, I can record while I'm with Nia and she's napping. So we're gonna get into all of that in a second. Today we're talking about traveling. And I think I've talked about it in a few bits and pieces in recent episodes or like previous episodes, but like, oh, we're traveling, we're doing this and that. But like today I want to get into the nitty gritty of like, how do you make your travel the best experience possible, knowing you have a baby or a toddler? And, life is going to look different traveling, right? Like when me and Happy were by ourselves traveling, I mean, you don't really think much. You just pack your bags, couple of things of clothing, whatever, you're gone. With a baby, it's a whole new ball game. As you can tell, I am now by myself in our cabin, and Nia's napping while everybody's having fun. There are sacrifices to traveling with the baby. But if you're able to plan out, and even my friends, like, they love Nia. So it's not like she's any kind of hindrance or anything. She is part of the crew, and we're having fun. But today I want to just talk about how can you maximize your time and fun and efficiencies, whatever, while you're traveling with a toddler and child. And so I think that starts off with planning your pre-trip, right? When you're planning your trip, you've got to think through these different items and whatnot. So pre-trip, first thing you need to do is when you have a baby, you need to understand babies have schedules. We've talked about that so many times. They have schedules, they have routines. Try to keep things at their schedule and at their routine, which means if they nap at, let's say right now it's 1:30 here, or 1:30 Central, 2:30 Eastern in Gatlinburg, then she needs to be napping at that time, even during your travel. So, as you can see, I slipped out, made sure she's napping, but plan your trip accordingly. So when you're flying, if you're driving, plan driving during her nap. That's exactly what we did yesterday. When we drove down to Gatlinburg, it's about 3.5 hour, about 4 hour drive. We started at the beginning of her nap. She actually didn't sleep for like 2 hours in, but she was just quiet and she was talking a little bit, but no complaining. And then those last 15 minutes, she started really complaining. And then finally, we gave her some milk and she fell asleep. And then she slept for about 1.5 hours. 30 minutes left, she was just chilling. But even during the flights that we've taken with her, it was either a very early morning flight. I remember when she was like 8 months or so, 8, 9, 10 months, we planned a flight right at that 10 a.m. slot where she usually naps. That was when she was taking 2 or 3 naps a day. Then when she was taking 1 or 2 naps a day, it's either we fly really late in the evening, so we fly at like 8, 9 p.m. So she's super tired in the flight. She's going to try to sleep, or most likely she was going to sleep. Or we fly during that 12, 11 o'clock, 1 o'clock-ish where she's tired and it's time for a nap, and we fly and she's sleeping on the plane. So basically, when you're planning your trip, even when you're planning activities, think through, okay, we can do stuff early in the afternoon, like 4 or 5, because she don't sleep till 8. Plan things like that during your pre-trip, right? Pack smart. Right, make an essential. So make a checklist. My wife is really good at like, here's what we need, and make sure let's get these things in a bag, or just like every time we get something, let's check them off. Obviously, some things I'm thinking about. Camera. When she's napping, you don't want to be stuck in the room watching her. We have a camera now. We can see that she's napping. Obviously, at this age, still bottles and busy books. You can see her busy book right here. Snacks, toys. For us, Nia loves books, so books are one of her most important things that we bring. But plan smart. Be able to communicate that with your wife. This is like we have like a shared note. We check off things whenever we have them. Whoever packs them, we check them off. Make sure you're packing smart so that when you're here, you're not like, oh, I need to go buy this, or I need to go do this, or crap, we forgot this, we forgot that. Her sound machine's in there. It's plugged in. That's a mandatory thing. She needs that sound machine to sleep. Night light. All these things, like we make sure we write them out and then we pack them up. Next, those are the main two things when you're pre-tripping. Now, en route to trip, kind of talked about this a little bit, but really make sure you are traveling during nap times, right? I think that's the best time to try to travel, because first of all, I'm a people pleaser, so I think about when we're on a flight. And people, Nia could be crying, or, Nia's at that age where she wants to explore. So if we're on a plane and there's a bunch of new people, she's only been on a plane a couple of times, she's going to want to travel, walk around, explore, try to go during her nap where she lays down and she just takes a nap for that hour and a half, whatever your flight is, right? But on top of that, bring entertainment. So this busy book has literally been a go-to. Like the last couple of weeks, she is really enjoying putting things together. I mean, it's a busy book for kids, so it's like shapes and numbers and days of the week and things like that, and she's really loving it. Since we drove, the first an hour and a half was listening to Miss Rachel. Now you guys know we limit screen time, so she doesn't get to see it, but she's listening to Miss Rachel. She actually now knows her name, but she will listen to Miss Rachel, and she loves listening and learning, and you can hear her. She's just Miss Rachel says, hi, hello, and, she does shapes. And we just choose a different, like, Miss Rachel has so many categories and whatnot. So that's her entertainment for the most part. Obviously, busy books, we bring regular books. Sometimes Happy will sit in the back, and she'll read to her. During a flight, this is a main point I wrote down, is try to feed during takeoff and landing. That's for the ear discomfort, right? So we always bring a milk bottle, and she doesn't get it until we're taking off. She can stay awake and do whatever until we're ready to take off. And once we get to first 2 minutes of that takeoff, we start feeding her the milk. Hopefully that helps with the ear discomfort, because if she starts feeling discomfortable or uncomfortable and she has no idea why, then it becomes a problem. She gets really fussy and cranky. But we just do it right before that, and you start feeding her, and she, usually she falls asleep. Another type of entertainment, those interactive toys. There's this little piggy bank that she loves, so she counts as she puts each coin in the piggy bank. So basically anything that can help, take some attention and time to your baby. Also en route, be flexible, right? So specifically when you're driving, be flexible. Know that you might get delayed because it needs to be bathroom breaks. Make sure when you're stopping, changing her diaper. Very important to just be flexible, be calm, just understanding things might not go specifically according to plan. Even yesterday, when we were coming to the cabin, we had to stop because we needed to get some toiletries. So when we stopped, that's when actually she woke up. So we kind of woke up a little bit earlier than she probably was going to wake up. But then after that, so we made sure we were just flexible. I'm like, okay, we'll change diaper now. We'll do this and that, and get her some snacks. So we actually got her some graham crackers or whatever. And that's what she had the last 20, 30 minutes of the travel. But just being flexible, being calm is always very important. I want to highlight at the end of this pod, I want to highlight some things that can make you the best dad and the best husband you can be, right? So this is a Dad's Dialogues podcast. I want to help dads. Can you be the best dad and husband you can be during this travel, right? So we'll get into that a little bit later. But after that, basically, when you're traveling, make sure you're sticking to the time. When you're actually there, right? Try and stick to the routine. We talked about this in the beginning. Stick to the routine, right? It's nap time for Nia. I left. She's down for her nap. And we'll wait until she wakes up. I did give a cap to how long she sleeps because, obviously we want to get back and get into the action. But be very present. Also, while you're there, be present. Be present is the other note. So be present. Have fun. I mean, when you plan to travel, plan to travel. Like, enjoy the thing. So we are gonna go skiing. We're still gonna go skiing. Right now, they're at like the main Pigeon Forge area, the city. Like, have fun, take pictures. Some pictures that we took together was with Nia. Like, we're like, Nia, smile, and she's smiling. And so that is just enjoy your time. A lot of the times, like, especially when you're traveling, you're gonna have to laugh off some things, right? Like, when you're being present, like, some things are gonna mess up, things are gonna get changed. Enjoy it, in the moment. Just try to spin it into a positive experience for everybody. And with that, when you're being present, put the phones down, right? So like I'm on my phone now, but she's napping, so cut me some slack. But be present, get off your phone, just enjoy your time. Even when we're with everybody here, like a lot of people, we're just off our phones, we're playing games, we're doing things. It's really, especially I try to prioritize not being on my phone and being with Nia and hanging out and seeing nature and doing things like that. She just moved, so I just was like, whoa, what's going on? But here are a couple of tips that I want to specifically give dads, right? When you're traveling as a dad, I think the first thing I want to mention is staying patient and remaining calm. I've hinted at it a couple of times. This is where dads need to be a superhero and just remaining calm. And I'll give you a little story. So actually, when we got here in Gatlinburg, we were supposed to be at this one cabin, and when we got to the cabin, the AC wasn't working. The heat wasn't working. The HVAC guy was there, and he was trying to fix it. And he came in and he told us, yeah, this thing is gonna stay at like 56, 58 degrees the whole weekend. Like, it's gonna be some coil thing, whatever. And he was talking in his HVAC jargon, but I didn't understand. He basically said heat's not gonna work this weekend. So in the moment, my wife, Happy, she's like kind of panicking, and me and Nia, I'm trying to like make sure we're still playing and still like keeping her distracted. And eventually I'm like, okay, well, let's call these people and see what we can do to I mean, we can't stay in a cabin. It was a cabin for 14. We can't stay in this cabin with no heat, right? It's really cold. It's still winter time. It's very cold. Like the cabin was already 56 or 58 degrees. It was cold. So I'm like, okay, hey, let's just see what we can do, right? Let's see what we can do. And I'm even preparing Happy for the worst case scenario. What if they say there's nothing available, we can't go anywhere? We take our refund, we play with Nia in this cabin until she's ready to sleep, and we pop her back in the car, and we just drive back 3.5 hours, like same night if they can't get us tonight. I call. It was actually a wonderful experience. Obviously, it's not the best. See, I'm trying to make it really positive, and I remained calm. I called them up, was like, hey, our heat's not working. Is there anything we can do? They're like, let's find some cabins. Let's see if there's anything available. They ring me back up. Hey, we have a couple of cabins available. There's nobody going to be there this weekend. Which one would you like? They actually give us a couple options. And so we texted the group. We're like, hey, changing cabin, a couple of things. Don't worry about it. Go to that cabin. Remain calm. Because I think dads are better, guys in general are better at like, okay, we just got to problem solve, right? And so this is actually a point where problem solving will work, right? I know a lot of times there's, even memes out there where problem solving is not the answer for women. But when it's an opportunity like this, right then, hey, we're just going to call, see what happens. We got to problem solve, because guess what? Are we staying in a 58-degree cabin? We're not, right? That's not possible. So stay patient, calm, don't get worked up. Things are gonna break. Baby's gonna cry. She's gonna have a meltdown. You've got to be able to remain calm, remain positive, and kind of give that confidence to your wife, right? And in that, communicate, right? Communicate's the next step to remaining calm, right? I can't just remain calm and just like, okay, we're cool, nothing, we're cool. There's got to be actions and words, right? So as we were figuring out, okay, the cabin is, no heat, let's figure out what we can do. I'm like, hey, worst case scenario, what's the plan? We're communicating immediately. Like, hey, what's the plan? If this doesn't go well, if they can't get it, like all the cabins are filled out this weekend, what's the plan? And, I'm telling her my thought process is, okay, we take our refund. We tell our friends, hey, just go to our house, which is, another 3.5 hours back the other way. And we just have a weekend to ourselves at our home. We're just thinking through what's the worst case scenario. We take our refund, we figure out another weekend, whatever it is, right? So I'm just making sure, we're talking through it, right? And that also helps my wife calm down. It helps everybody, the whole situation. Nia doesn't even realize anything's wrong, right? That's how calm we're trying to keep the situation. In that whole time, she's fine. She's running around. She's playing with the little cabin games, and she's chilling, right? So those are the first two like dads can really take and really be a superhero in that moment of being calm, right? And in the chaos, right? Here's one that's, I'm not gonna say it's hard, but I think sometimes details are not guys' forte, right? We're not like, okay, I just want to plan through every single little detail. I want to mark every single milestone, whatever, whatever. But try to take some initiative in packing and in planning. Happy loves when I try to plan. Now, this cabin, I'm the one that got it, right? Like I'm giving you some ideas. The cabin's what we got. Now, the actual day-to-day, we didn't really think that through, but for the most part, like I got the cabin. When we're packing, like yesterday when we were packing and the day before, I made sure to grab all of Nia's electronics. So I got all the sound machines, the cameras, the everything, put them in a bag. I also picked out Nia's outfits. Actually, I picked them out so well, Abby didn't even change anything, right? Like she just said, "Oh, these are good outfits. We'll put them in the bag." We had like a system to packing, right? I made sure that everything was there. I got all her electronics. I got all her hair stuff, right? Put all her hair, and her stuff's usually in a bag in it anyways. But I put them out in the front for that, so that Happy could put them in our suitcase. Even the clothes, put them out in front. She can put them in the suitcase. So we had a system going, right? And I'm pretty sure she appreciates that, I'm not just like, okay, you can do the packing for Nia. I'm just going to pack my own stuff. I try to take initiative. I try to make sure, hey, I'm also part of this event, right? We're going together. I'm going to try to pack. I'm going to try to plan the trip out. I'm the one that was communicating with all of our friends, right? For the most part, I was like, hey guys, like, is this weekend good for you guys? Whatever. So take initiative. So as dads, right? Like there's these three things that I really want to mention. One, to be the best dads and husbands, right? As we can be. Obviously, we're going to be present. We're going to be present. We're going to enjoy our time. We're going to make our baby laugh. We're going to make our wife happy, right? Two, we are going to stay patient in the chaos, right? We have to stay patient in the chaos because as guys, it kind of comes naturally. Like, you don't get too excited. You don't get too sad. You just kind of stay in a neutral. Now, if it's happiness, I will go all the way. I go all the way. But when things are getting negative, I don't ever go too far. Like okay, maybe things are sad, but we need to figure things out. Things are in chaos, but we need to figure things out. Stay calm. Communicate. Now, this is a gap that maybe a lot of men have, is maybe you have these things in your head you're thinking, but you're not eliciting these thoughts. You're not saying these thoughts. So communicate often, right? Communicate everything that's planned out. We got to do this. We got to do that. If this happens, we're going to do this. Communicate as often as possible, right? I'm even texting when, she goes down for a nap. I'm like, hey, she's down this time, whatever. Just telling her everything that's going on. And then taking initiative on planning, packing, doing the things that, maybe a lot of women usually take control of. I'm like, hey, I'll do this part. Don't worry. I'll pack the electronics. I'll pack her hair stuff, and I'll sort out her clothes. And then, she took diapers and actually putting them in the bag. Make sure these are the things that as a dad, that we can elevate our game and making our wife happy, making our kids happy. How forgetful I am. One last thing I want to mention that will really elevate your game as a dad is, I mentioned I am with Nia, right? I'm with Nia. Happy is out there. She's having fun. She's, hanging out with all of our friends. Take initiative in being responsible for your baby, right? Whether it's nap time, going down to sleep, lunches, dinners, breakfasts, snack, understanding the routine. Be very mindful and responsible and lifting something off her shoulder and taking on that burden, right? We're hanging out now, and I'm like, hey, I can go put it down for a nap. Don't even worry about it. Like, I'll go do that. You just keep hanging out. And so that I'm positive that makes her very happy. So make sure, even food, whatever, I tried to feed her, breakfast this morning, right? She had French toast. I knew she was going to have French toast because we packed it. So just making sure you are very in tune with your baby's routine, schedule, food, and knowing how Like, you should know how to put your baby down for naps, right? Like, every baby's different, and some babies, harder or easier to put down for naps, but know how to do it. Happy knows she can be gone for multiple days, and she doesn't have to worry, because I'm dad, right? I'm not caretaker, I'm not babysitter, I am dad who loves to be with their daughter. So this is like the biggest thing when you're thinking about traveling. How can you assert yourself in regular day-to-day activities for your baby and give mom that peace of mind? That's very important. And so we're on this trip. We're having an absolute blast, and I'm glad I really found a sliver of time to enjoy my time with Nia. Putting her down is like really sweet. We get to cuddle and whatnot. But then also we're enjoying our time with our friends. Like, this has been a blast so far. So this has been episode 26, traveling with toddlers and babies. Dads, make sure this is a podcast striving to be the best dad I can be, and I'm trying to help everybody be the best dads you can be. Thank you guys, and have a great week. See you next week.
Dad's Dialogues, a new journey today. Ooh, ooh, ooh.